we've got this new feature where we're calling in people, and I think it's wonderful, guys.
It's fun.
And this is going to stay. So we're going to... Oh, it's working.
It's ringing. Should we do a prank?
No. Prank call. It'd be funny if she just didn't. Hello, is that Red Fox?
This is Red Fox.
Hello, this is Luke Lentis from the
Luke,
Duke LDN Podcast. I'm great. We are here with Geni Lou. I don't know if you guys are familiar with each other.
I don't think we've met.
No, I don't think we have. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to audio meet you.
So, am I addressing you as Red?
Yeah, you can. Cool. Red Fox, whatever you feel.
Cool. Red, I like nicknames, so Red will do. How are you? How's things today?
Great. I've been teaching online. As you know, we've got to do what we've got to do with the young people, keep them engaged. Yeah, that's good to hear. I just wanted to, for the listeners, to give me a little breakdown of who you are and what you do. Okay, so my name's Red Fox, and people probably know me from the beginning from Boy Blue, because that's where I started out. Yeah. And from there, I've worked in many dance organisations, performing arts organisations. I graduated with a BA Honours in Performing Arts in the Community, so that's where I practice most of my art. Nice. In any shape, form. I do poetry, we do drawings, so I don't limit myself. So it's just to say I'm a creative, and I've been in the industry for over 20 years. Oh, amazing. Cool. Well, it's lovely to have you calling in on our new feature of these phone-ins on the podcast, which I'm loving. So we're just talking because Geni, I don't know how much you know about each other, but basically Geni works as a producer. She came from Montreal. She's been in London, 5 years? 5 years now? She works as a producer for a lot of hip hop theater stuff. And we just kind of got done discussing dance producer and dance kind of, I don't want to say admin side, but a bit more of the structural help roles in the industry, as opposed to the artistic side of things. I wanted to, if you had any thoughts about the kind of these roles in the industry, or any questions or anything like that you wanted to contribute, and we will go from there. I definitely want to say that these are the kind of jobs that some people might not know about, or even know exist, or even think are important. And I fully believe they are, because I did arts admin as well. Yeah. And behind the scenes is just important as on the stage and in front of a TV, because without us, certain things wouldn't be ready for them. Yeah. So I really am. I love being behind the scenes. I love making things come together, put it together. When I see the final production, I'm like, yes, we did that. Yeah. So just wanted to put that out there. But in general, I love being organising and getting things together. So that's why I went down that route in the first place. And I was lucky enough to even be associate producer on the Pied Piper from Boy Blue. Oh, cool. So that was my first big kind of production, 2006. And then from there, just the love of it just kind of kept growing. So whatever I worked on from there was from the love of Boy Blue, really. So that was really good. But it's tough out here, I can't lie though, it's tough. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the avenue that I had through Theatre Royal, because I've worked there since I was about 17, 18. Okay. They gave me a platform and just called me up one day and said right, Shah, this is a platform for you, do whatever you want. And I was so baffed. I was like, what? I was like, hold on, you're just giving me this space, this time, I can do whatever I want. And they was like, yeah, produce what you want. I was like, so what was the deal with you could put on a show? Yeah, it was Sunday. It was called Undiscovered Sundays. Okay. And it was and then I made the red carpet, which was different because, like I said, I don't just like dancing. I like all art. So I made it poetry, music, comedy, and I just produced the red carpet. But if you don't get help, or you don't get someone that sees something in you, sometimes it can be hard. But I'm not saying just because they gave me the platform it wasn't hard. I've still had to self-fund for stuff. I've still had to buy my own equipment, and I've had the support of the people that believe in what I can do and produce to be on my team. So it's been a journey, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to give me some money out there, you know, my name's Red Fox at Red 7 Foxy. Just putting it out there if you want to support the cause at the Red Carpet UK, because, you know.
Definitely.
That's what we've got to do, help and support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And me and Geni were just talking about the fact that, you know, sometimes with a producer, when you bring them in, people are kind of looking for someone to just let them do what they want to do, but it's like, okay, answer my emails and write my applications and leave me alone. Whereas Geni was saying, like, sometimes you need to find a teammate in a producer, and it needs to be like a marriage where you're both like working together and you both are working towards the same goal, because it works way better that way.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, the reason why I 100% agree with you, because obviously when you come out of uni, you're still finding your feet, aren't you? You ain't going to fall into that perfect job role for you. Yeah. You go through loads, and I ended up being a front of house supervisor at a theatre in Barking, and which was amazing. Yeah, Broadway, yeah. And I did that for a year, and I learnt so much skills there. But I was a manager. I was like front of house supervisor. I supervised all the ushers, all the bar staff, you know, everyone. And, you know, I think and I'm not being big-headed, but I think they generally liked me because I wasn't afraid to put the bins out myself. I wasn't afraid to change this. Even though, I manage you and put you into your places where we're going to do what we're going to do, what the plan is, I'm not afraid to do everything they can do. Yeah. And once you can do that, as like you said, the team, if you all have that same mind frame, it does work so much easier. Yeah. You produce better things. You know, you can move forward together. And I think that is very important, what you said. So yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think, do you guys, it's a question to both of you, I guess, like, do you think that there's a certain type of personality that revolves more toward, leans more towards, I guess, anything behind the scenes or production work, as opposed to being an artist? Because I guess maybe as an artist, you're the one on stage getting the round of applause, and as a producer, you're kind of in the wings going, yeah, we did it. But you're not maybe getting the same kind of accolades that the performers or choreographers are getting. So do you think it takes a certain type of personality? Do you think that there's, you know, more personalities that are leaning towards artists, or do you think that, you know, just not enough people have discovered that there's an avenue for them outside of performing?
I think that it's like, for sure there's certain personality traits, characters, and like skill sets that will gravitate towards producing. Mm-hmm. But like, one thing that I think, especially as you gain like scale in what you do, you realize that putting on a performance and building a show is like, it's a team sport. You know, maybe the artist is like at the head and they're the face of it, but like, there's so many moving parts. And so in that sense, like, right, you have to be okay with not being the one like on stage taking the bow and like taking in the applause. So I think that that's just part of the role. But in terms of character and personality, I think that a producer is someone that like has to be able to like zoom out and have like a big vision and like, you know, see where we're going and have a strategy, but also able to like zoom in a detail and say, okay, this big thing, how are we specifically going to achieve that? Yeah,
like, what's today's task?
Yeah, so I think like this ability to have like a bird's eye view, but also like
a super macro.
Yeah, like an eagle, you know, you can see everything, but then you go down and catch that mouse. Like, so I think that for me, that's like if you have that that ability, then, you know, you would probably be good at producing.
Yeah. What do you think, Red?
I fully agree with you there as well. And that's the thing. I've never really wanted to be a limelight person.
Oh, really?
And I've loved dancing. Don't get me wrong. I've danced since I was young, but I've never wanted to be that famous dancer on the screen. Right. But I absolutely love watching them, you know, and feeling like you're part of it. And, you know, and like Geni was saying, like, you have to have a good, like, kind of mind frame to that kind of, if it is technical, isn't it? Because you know, we might sit in a room at a table and do a reading and someone's like, I would want this to happen. Well, who's going to make that happen? You know what I mean? Yeah. You're the performer, but, you know, you want it to happen. We just have to magically make it happen. And then we go out and find the resources for it, and we'll find a good way to make that happen and stuff like that. So, I've never wanted to be that performer. I think I am that person that likes to find the solution and find the way to solver. Kind of put, like did I definitely believe that problem solver is definitely on the list there, because I like to do that. So that's why I like to do what I do.
Yeah. Did you perform in the Boy Blue when you were associate producer for Pied Piper? Did you perform as well?
No, not for Pied Piper. I was only associate producer for that.
Oh, amazing. So what was that like? Because that's quite a big thing. So was it, when you watched it, you didn't get any sort of like, oh, I wish I was on stage? Or were you super happy to be like, yeah, we did that kind of thing?
Do you know what? Right? Because obviously, it's come back a few times. I did the original, first original one.
That was when? 2006?
2006.
Yeah.
So I think, do you know what? I think the tiniest bit of me wanted to be on stage with them. Yeah. But I just loved watching it so much. I like, you start to naturally learn the moves.
Yeah.
Because I've seen sometimes, like, I just felt happy to be a part of it. So when I watched it, I was just filled with joy, because I'm like, yes, we made this happen. Yeah. Like, even though I just booked rehearsal spaces, paid people's fees, called everybody for time check. And, do you know what I mean? But putting all of those together and seeing them all on stage, you do want to get up there. There's no way you can watch something and not feel like you want to just get up in there with them.
But I think also maybe it's if you have performers who appreciate you, you don't feel left out, because I can speak from, I haven't really done any producing, but from a performer aspect, if you're part of anything that has moving parts, like any tours or going overseas to perform or whatever, like that person is like the lifesaver. They're the ones that's like, like we had Michelle on the last episode, and it's like I've worked with her on Breaking Convention when I was a performer, and it's like the person that's like, oh, here's your flight details, here's this, this is when this happened, and this is, and you're like, oh my god, if this you realize, like, when you're in it, like, if this person wasn't here, how would all of this get done?
And also when things happen unexpectedly, it's like, there's like one, one person missed their flight. Like,
it's not me chasing them.
It's certainly not like Jonesy who's at the theater with an artist who's gonna be like, okay, right, do they have their visa? Like, their visas?
There's someone that needs to go for those details that maybe
and we know that like with shows and performances and like just this industry, it's like unexpected things happen all the time. Like, you need that person.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's one thing. I also went to Breaking Convention during a period of time, so I know what that all of that feels like, because you have a schedule and you've got to stick to it and you've got to keep to it, and anything can go wrong. You have to be prepared for it. You have to think fast, solutions, ideas, and get it in there. So it is very. I think a producer's job is very, I don't know what the right word is, but you have to be ready for anything and everything.
It's like 24/7 working, isn't it? Because even, I was thinking of like Breaking Convention when we toured and stuff. It's like when you go to another country and it's like, when me as a performer, I'm done. I did my tech for the day. I don't have to, perform until tomorrow. When I go to bed, I'm going to bed. Like, I turn my phone on silent, whatever. But I can imagine like anyone else in that production that's not a performer, you got to have your phone on. You got to be ready. You got to know when people are flying in, like the time differences. Like there's a lot. You got to be ready 24/7.
You do. Yeah. You really do.
Do you find that there's like I don't know how to phrase the question, but I want to ask you guys about like the gender of these sort of things. Like, do you find that women have a harder time in these sort of roles, or an easier time, or where do you find yourself as like kind of women in these industries?
This is a
big question.
Big question.
It is a big question, actually.
I didn't ask it in a very specific way either, did I?
I feel like I can definitely like just speak for a whole day about like women in general and being like, because for me, this is actually like, okay, women in producing and in this industry specifically, but also just like as business women, there's certain things we experience. But I will say that like generally I've seen more women producers than men producers. A lot more women producing for male artists than a male producer working for a female artist.
Interesting. Would you say the same, Red?
I actually would say the same. I think there are a lot of female producers out there, but like you said, we're in the background, so you don't necessarily know. You only know if you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think women, because we naturally have that organizational kind of let's get it together, you know, we can be producers because of that. Right. You know, some men, and this is no disrespect to anybody out there listening, it's just that some men, they like to get on with the work and just, you know, and get the work done. Whereas us women, we mechanically get those bits together so you can do that. So,
and I think maybe it's also like, because, you know, I think maybe it's the gender stereotypes that we grow up with is like, even though it's, you know, it's not like the TV show Mad Men or like the 50s, you know, where the woman is the like household organizer or whatever, but it's definitely true that there's remnants of that era in us still, you know? So like there's still maybe a tendency for a gender stereotype to be like, if you're growing up as a little girl, you're leaning towards like, you know, these sort of activities where you're maybe organizing different things. And it could be like a gender stereotype thing where, you know, as a man, even maybe we're like, oh no, like subconsciously don't want to lean towards doing the organization thing. We want to be the face of it or something like that because, you know, maybe there's something in society pushing us that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I will say though, like, you know, for me personally, like I do know some like male producers and I know like, there have been like quite a few male producers and entrepreneurs who have like mentored and really helped me. Yeah. And but most of the time, like except for a few exceptions, like a lot of the times the men that I know who are producers are like entrepreneurs, so they're pushing and they're producing their own project as opposed to like supporting somebody else's art and somebody else's production. So like the only, I think like man that comes to my mind that does that is Farouk Chowdhury. I know there's more, but like this is one of the only people that I met that I was like, oh yeah, like he's a man producer for other artists, and I haven't met a lot of men who do that.
Yeah.
I have to say that, you know, she touched on what I was going to say, but you know, like even when you're saying that, like I went to an outdoor poetry session and my friend introduced me to the producer, and I don't know why, I just automatically thought it was a woman.
Right.
And not because I'm saying men can't do it, I'm just saying again, it was just like, oh, because of what it was. And then it was this big tall guy and he was like, hi, I'm the producer. I was just like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
You know, but that was for TV. You see what I mean? So I kind of make you right, because when you think of TV productions and people that are up there, there are a lot of males up there. There's not as many women. But when you think of our scale and our performing arts and our shows and our theatre shows and, you know, our dance shows, there are a lot of female producers behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I think there is a lot of male and female in producer roles, but as you said, some of them are doing it big screen TV, films and all that stuff. They are majority men. Yeah. And the people that are doing the theatre sides and not saying we're less important, but it's just the way it's happened.
And maybe there's less money in it.
I was like, not less important, but less paid.
Yeah, definitely less paid, girl.
Yeah. So do you think maybe it's a case of like the maybe if we're addressing like an inequality, it would be not in the sense of women being pushed into the roles because they're there, but maybe not being taken on to the big money roles? Would you guys say that?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, because if we're talking about the big money role, like we're just talking about working in a different industry, because the art sector, just like, and especially dance and especially hip hop dance, like, just I don't know a lot of companies that are like working on big money. Yeah, even the ones, you know, the NPOs like that, you know, people tend to think like, oh yeah, they have operating money and they're like
that
balling.
Boy Blue or Z Nation or something.
Yeah, but like the cost of their operation is also really high, so it's like it's more demanding and they get more money in, but they also put more money out, you know. So I wouldn't like, I don't think that it's a thing about like, you know, women aren't given the opportunity to like get highly paid positions in dance. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe it's also you know, just in general, the status quo of like women and men in business, you know, it doesn't have to be that it's specific to this industry that's causing, you know, any sort of leaning one way or the other. Maybe it's just in general, like.
And yeah, I feel like actually, you know, there's this thing, and especially in hip hop dance, about like the fact that, you know, it's always kind of said in some way that like it's male dominated.
Yeah.
And I agree to the extent that it's like, it's a lot of men that are at the forefront, like that we see on stage. They're the choreographer, they're the leader. But often I'm like, you know, there's more men, and we want and we need more women at the forefront, being the face, being like all of that.
Yeah.
But also, are we not acknowledging like the whole force of like women that are driving opportunities in industry from like, but that you don't really see? You know, you see the opportunity and you're like, oh yeah, there's a call out for a digital something, and it's like, yeah, it's like women who are behind creating this opportunity, but because it's not a woman like's face on the poster, then you don't associate it, I guess, with that.
Because like what you both have said today is kind of like, you know, how important a producer role is and how much you need that role to make stuff happen. Like Red, you were saying, you know, on the Pied Piper thing, maybe you weren't on stage taking the bow, but you were like super essential in making that even happen. So for us to say that, you know, Pied Piper was a male-led thing would be incorrect, you know, because without you, it might not have happened as it did, you know?
Yeah, and when you say it like that, you know, you think about it, because obviously I worked with the theatre role producer who was one of them anyway. She was a woman as well, so we worked together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It was a male-faced organisation, but yes, we was behind the scenes making it happen as well. So again, what Geni was saying is right. It's true about, you know, the men being at the forefront. Maybe they're on the pictures and the posters and they're out there, but we are here as well. But that's what I've chosen, if that makes sense. So I won't,
you don't feel forced into that.
Yeah, I chose to do arts admin, so I chose to be behind the scenes. But I miss performing, so I still perform with my kids sometimes, and some people might ask me to do little random things here and there. But my main focus is to make something come to life.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is my thing, is like, in our quest for equality, it's easy to forget to celebrate the women that we already have. Do you know what I mean? It's like we spend all our time saying there's not enough women, and then meanwhile there's amazing people like you guys who are doing great work, and we're just like, yeah, but it's not enough. And it's like we need to also like balance that with stopping and saying, yo, how amazing is it that we have Red that put together this, like, or was associate producer on Pied Piper, like how amazing, you know, it wouldn't have happened without her. Amazing, you know, with Jen, with some of the work that she does. So
like
we need both sides.
If you think of like, you know, Lee Griffiths, Kate, Emily, Michelle,
like how many productions wouldn't have happened if those women weren't in those roles?
Exactly. But it's like, because you see like, and Joe stand up with Boy Blue, like a bunch of people, but because the people that you see is Jonesy, Kenrick, blah, 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 then it's like, okay, we need more women at the front, and like, you know, being the head of companies, like, sure, I 100% agree, but also like, can we like acknowledge that there are women who are driving things forward?
Like,
and that's a good point as well, because there are, and obviously we have people like Kloè Dean, people like Rhymes LaQuaint, like I've worked with Bodicea for over 4 years when they were very active, so, but they've had to work very hard. You know, they've battled their way through the pool of male dominated positions, and they've bust through, and they're creating, and they're still creating, and they're still making movements, and they're for female empowerment. So there are avenues now that are kind of there pushing the females to the front, like, come on girls, we're here, come along with us.
Exactly. And if we don't celebrate them, then it's less inspiring for the other people that want to do that. You know, it's like the more we encourage those people, maybe the more, you know, young women are going to want to get into these things. Or
and that's the thing as well. And we need to love and support that as well.
Boom. This turned out so positive. I love this. I wish I had like a round of applause. I need like sound effects, like round of applause. Yeah, a little gunshot, like is it Charlie Sloth, Tim Westwood style. Yeah. No, but yeah, honestly, like a big shout out to all the women making it happen.
Yes.
But yes, Red, thank you so much for coming. We're going to put up your social media details or whatever you want us to put up on the screen here, and so people can check you out and contact you if they want to work with you, because you are a wonderful and very, very competent woman, and you do a great job with all the stuff that that I've seen that you do. I've heard your name way before we spoke. I think I first heard about you through Bruno.
That's my bro.
Yeah, way back he was telling me about you, and I was like, I don't think I've met, but this is like way back.
I literally spoke to him yesterday.
Oh, sick. I love Bruno. I haven't spoken to him in ages. But yes, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully post-pandemic world-ending apocalypse, we can
meet in the flesh.
Yeah, we can have more than one person in the studio.
Yes, I'll be more than happy to come in. It was great, actually. I loved it.
Oh, thanks so much. All right, well, I'll catch you very soon, and good luck with everything. Hope you stay well and healthy.
Thank you to you all as well. Take care.
Right, see you. Bye.
Blessings. Bye.